Hello everyone, and welcome back to English Gateway. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? Have you struggled to remember someone's name, lost focus after just a few minutes of reading, or felt mentally exhausted even though your day had barely started? If your answer is yes, you're not alone. The good news is that these problems are not always a natural part of aging. In many cases, they're the result of small daily habits that slowly weaken our ability to think, remember, and concentrate. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain is constantly changing. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. Your brain's amazing ability to create new connections throughout your life. Every choice you make either strengthens those connections or allows them to fade. The best part? You don't need expensive supplements or complicated routines to keep your mind sharp. Simple daily habits can improve your memory, boost your focus, increase creativity, and help your brain stay healthier for years to come. In today's video, I'll share 16 powerful habits that can help keep your brain young and active. They're practical, easy to understand, and backed by what we know about how the brain learns and adapts. And remember, while you're learning these life-changing habits, you're also improving your English listening skills. So grab a notebook if you'd like, stay until the end, and let's begin. Habit 1. Use your non-dominant hand. This may sound surprisingly simple, but don't underestimate its power. Most of us perform everyday tasks on autopilot. We brush our teeth, unlock our phones, eat our meals, and open doors using the same hand every single day. Because these actions have become automatic, your brain doesn't have to work very hard anymore. But the moment you switch to your non-dominant hand, everything changes. Suddenly your brain has to slow down. It must pay attention, coordinate different muscles, and create new communication pathways between brain cells. This small challenge activates parts of your brain that normally stay quiet during routine activities. You don't need to do anything complicated. Try brushing your teeth with your opposite hand. Write your signature. Use a spoon during lunch. Open a bottle. Even using your computer mouse with the opposite hand for a few minutes can provide a fresh mental challenge. At first, you'll probably feel awkward. You might make mistakes. You may even feel frustrated. That's actually a good sign. It means your brain is working. Growth doesn't happen when everything feels easy. It happens when your brain is forced to adapt. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. The first few attempts feel uncomfortable and unbalanced. But with practice, your brain builds stronger pathways until the task becomes natural. The same principle applies here. Small challenges repeated consistently can strengthen your brain's flexibility over time. So, starting today, choose one simple activity and perform it with your non-dominant hand. It only takes a minute. But over time, those minutes can make a meaningful difference. Habit 2. Do one difficult thing every day. Let's face it, our brains naturally seek comfort. We choose the easiest route, the simplest task, and the quickest solution whenever possible. While comfort feels good in the moment, too much comfort slowly weakens our ability to grow. Every challenge you avoid is an opportunity your brain never gets to experience. Doing one difficult thing every day keeps your mind active, adaptable, and resilient. The challenge doesn't have to be huge. It could be speaking English even when you're nervous, reading 10 pages of a difficult book, learning a new skill, taking a cold shower, going for a walk instead of scrolling through social media, waking up 30 minutes earlier, having an honest conversation you've been avoiding. These small moments of discomfort teach your brain something incredibly valuable. They teach it that growth is possible. Research consistently shows that learning new skills and facing manageable challenges stimulates brain activity and strengthens cognitive function. Every time you solve a difficult problem, your brain becomes better prepared for future challenges. Imagine two people. The first person follows exactly the same routine every single day. The second person intentionally learns something new every week, practices difficult tasks, and regularly steps outside their comfort zone. After several years, whose brain do you think will remain more adaptable? The answer is obvious. Growth belongs to the person who continues learning. So here's today's challenge. Choose one task you've been avoiding. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until next Monday. Do it today. It doesn't need to be perfect. It simply needs to be done, because every small challenge sends your brain one powerful message. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And that's exactly how a young, healthy brain is built. Habit 3. Reduce your screen time every day. Let's be honest. How many times have you picked up your phone today without even thinking about it? Maybe you wanted to check one notification. 5 minutes later, you were still scrolling through videos, social media posts, or news you didn't even care about. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Modern technology is incredibly useful, but it also comes with a hidden cost. Every swipe, every notification, and every short video trains your brain to expect constant stimulation. Instead of focusing on one thing, your attention jumps from one topic to another. Over time, this makes it harder to concentrate, remember information, and stay present in real life. Imagine trying to read a book while someone interrupted you every 30 seconds. You'd probably lose your focus very quickly. That's exactly what endless notifications do to your brain. The more distractions you allow, the more difficult it becomes to think deeply. The good news is that your brain can recover. Start with something simple. Choose one period each day, maybe 30 minutes or even 1 hour, where you stay completely away from your phone. No social media, no endless scrolling, no checking messages every few minutes. Instead, use that time to read, write, take a walk, or simply sit quietly with your thoughts. At first, you may feel uncomfortable. You might even reach for your phone without realizing it. That's completely normal. It's simply a habit your brain has learned. But every time you resist that urge, you're strengthening your attention and rebuilding your ability to focus. Many successful people schedule regular periods of uninterrupted work because they understand one simple truth. Deep focus creates better results. If you want a sharper mind, don't let your phone control every free moment of your day. Use technology as a tool, not as your master. Your attention is one of your greatest assets. Protect it. Habit 4. Prioritize high quality sleep. Here's a question. Do you think sleep is simply about resting your body? Most people do, but your brain sees sleep very differently. While you're sleeping, your brain is incredibly busy. It organizes memories, processes everything you learned during the day, removes waste products, repairs brain cells, and prepares you for tomorrow. In other words, sleep is your brain's daily maintenance session. Without enough quality sleep, your memory becomes weaker, your concentration drops, your emotions become harder to control. Even simple decisions start feeling difficult. Have you ever noticed how everything seems harder after a poor night's sleep? Small problems feel much bigger. You forget simple things. You lose patience more quickly. That's because your brain never had enough time to recover. Fortunately, improving your sleep doesn't always require sleeping longer. Often, it means sleeping better. Try keeping your bedroom cool, quiet, and as dark as possible. Avoid looking at your phone for at least 30 minutes before bedtime. The bright light from screens can confuse your brain and make it harder to produce melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep naturally. Instead of scrolling through social media, spend your last few minutes reading a book, listening to calm music, or practicing deep breathing. Also, try to wake up at the same time every morning, even on weekends. Your brain loves consistency. A regular sleep schedule helps improve memory, mood, and mental performance. Think of sleep as charging your phone. If you only charge it halfway every night, eventually it won't last through the day. Your brain works exactly the same way. The better you sleep, the better you think. So tonight, don't sacrifice your rest for one more episode, one more video, or one more hour of scrolling. Your future self will thank you for choosing sleep over distraction. Habit 5. Spend time in nature without digital distractions. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you went for a walk without looking at your phone? Not listening to music, not replying to messages, not checking social media, just walking. For many people, it's been a long time. We've become so connected to our devices that we've forgotten how to connect with the world around us. But your brain hasn't forgotten. In fact, it still craves the calmness of nature. Research has shown that spending time outdoors can reduce stress, improve attention, and even boost creativity. Why? Because nature gives your brain something modern life rarely does: peace. When you're surrounded by trees, fresh air, birds singing, or even a quiet park, your mind begins to slow down, your heart rate becomes steadier, your breathing becomes deeper, and the constant mental noise starts to fade away. Think about how you feel after spending hours inside a busy office, shopping mall, or noisy city street. Now compare that to how you feel after sitting near a lake, walking through a forest, or watching a beautiful sunset. The difference is remarkable. Nature gives your brain permission to rest without becoming lazy. It restores your mental energy instead of draining it. You don't need to climb mountains or travel to another country. Even a nearby park can make a difference. Spend 10 to 20 minutes walking without distractions. Notice the colors of the trees. Listen to the birds. Feel the breeze. Pay attention to your surroundings. These simple moments help train your brain to become more mindful and present. And while you're walking, leave your phone in your pocket. Better yet, leave it at home if you can. The world existed long before smartphones. Sometimes, the best way to reconnect with your mind is to disconnect from your screen. Your brain needs moments of silence just as much as it needs moments of learning. Give it both. Habit 6. Read things that challenge your thinking. Most people only read things they already agree with. They follow the same opinions, the same news sources, the same ideas, the same perspectives. While this feels comfortable, it doesn't encourage real growth. Your brain becomes stronger when it is challenged, not when it is constantly confirmed. Imagine exercising with the same lightweight dumbbell every day. Eventually, your muscles stop growing because there's no challenge. Your mind works exactly the same way. If you only consume information that feels easy and familiar, your thinking becomes limited. Instead, read books that introduce new ideas, explore different cultures, learn about science, history, psychology, or philosophy. Read biographies of people whose lives were completely different from yours. Ask yourself difficult questions. What if my opinion isn't the only valid one? What can I learn from someone who sees the world differently? Curiosity is one of the greatest signs of an active brain. The smartest people aren't those who believe they know everything. They're the ones who never stop learning. Here's a simple challenge. This month, choose one book outside your usual interests. If you normally read business books, try history. If you enjoy fiction, explore psychology. If you love science, read about art or philosophy. You may not agree with every idea. That's perfectly okay. The goal isn't to change your beliefs. The goal is to strengthen your ability to think critically. Great thinkers don't fear different opinions. They explore them. Every new perspective builds fresh connections inside your brain. It teaches you to analyze instead of react, to understand instead of judge. And those skills don't just make you smarter, they make you wiser. Remember, reading isn't about finishing as many books as possible. It's about allowing each good idea to reshape the way you think. One meaningful lesson can change your life far more than reading 10 books without reflection. So, don't just read for entertainment, read for transformation. Because every page you truly understand becomes another investment in a healthier, sharper, and younger mind. Habit 7. Strengthen your memory with active recall. Have you ever studied something carefully, only to forget it a few days later? It happens to almost everyone. The problem usually isn't that your memory is weak. The problem is how you're trying to remember. Most people rely on passive learning. They read the same page again. They highlight sentences. They watch the same video repeatedly. It feels productive, but your brain is doing very little work. Real learning begins when your brain has to retrieve information without looking at the answer. This technique is called active recall, and it's one of the most effective ways to strengthen memory. Think of your memory like a muscle. If someone else lifts the weight for you every day, your muscles never become stronger. The same thing happens when you immediately check Google, your notes, or your phone every time you forget something. Instead of giving your brain the chance to remember, you let technology do the work. Here's a simple example. Imagine you're learning 5 new English words. Instead of reading them 10 times, close the book after a few minutes and try to say the words from memory. You might only remember 2 or 3. That's okay. The effort itself is what strengthens your brain. Every time you struggle to remember something, your brain builds stronger neural pathways. The more often you retrieve information, the easier it becomes to remember it later. Students who use active recall often learn faster while spending less time studying. Why? Because they're training their brains to retrieve knowledge instead of simply recognizing it. You can use this habit in everyday life. Before checking your shopping list, try to remember everything you need. Before searching for someone's phone number, pause and think. Before asking someone a question, see if you already know the answer. These small mental exercises gradually improve your memory. Don't be afraid of forgetting. Forgetting is part of learning. The important step is trying to remember before giving up. Every successful recall tells your brain, this information matters, and your brain becomes much more likely to keep it for the future. Habit 8. Learn skills that challenge you. Here's an interesting question. When was the last time you learned something that made you feel completely inexperienced? Not something easy, something difficult, something that forced you to make mistakes. Many adults stop learning new skills because they don't like feeling like beginners. Children don't have this problem. They fall, they fail, they laugh, then they try again. That's exactly why children learn so quickly. Their brains are constantly building new connections. As adults, we often avoid activities that might make us look unskilled, but avoiding challenges also prevents our brains from growing. Learning something new is one of the best gifts you can give your mind. It doesn't matter what you choose. Learn a musical instrument, practice a new language, take a cooking class, learn photography, start drawing, try dancing, play chess. Even learning basic coding can challenge your brain in exciting new ways. At first, progress will feel slow. You'll make mistakes. You'll forget what you've learned. You might even feel frustrated. That's perfectly normal. Every expert was once a beginner. The difference is that they kept going. Your brain loves novelty. Whenever you expose it to unfamiliar situations, it creates fresh neural connections that improve learning, creativity, and problem solving. Think about the first time you drove a car. Everything demanded your attention. The mirrors, the pedals, the steering wheel, traffic signs. Today, you probably drive without thinking very much. Your brain adapted. That's exactly what happens every time you learn a new skill. The difficult becomes familiar, and your brain becomes stronger because of it. Here's your challenge. Choose one new skill you've always wanted to learn. Don't worry about becoming an expert. Focus only on becoming better than you were yesterday. Spend just 15 or 20 minutes each day practicing. Small, consistent effort always beats occasional motivation. Remember, growth doesn't happen inside your comfort zone. It begins the moment you decide to try something you've never done before. And every new skill you learn is another investment in a sharper, healthier, and younger brain. Habit 9. Have meaningful conversations. Let me ask you something. How many conversations do you have each day that you actually remember? Not the quick, good morning. Not how are you? Not I'm fine. Real conversations. The kind that make you stop and think. The kind that leave you inspired, curious, or emotionally connected. For many people, those conversations have become rare. In today's fast-paced world, we often communicate more than ever before, but connect less than ever. We send messages, reply with emojis, share short comments. But meaningful conversations require something different. They require attention, curiosity, and genuine listening. Your brain loves meaningful conversations because they challenge you to think, understand different perspectives, and process emotions. Unlike small talk, deeper conversations activate multiple areas of the brain at the same time. You remember stories, interpret emotions, choose your words carefully, and build stronger relationships. Imagine sitting with a close friend and asking, "What's one lesson life has taught you this year?" Instead of giving a simple answer, they begin sharing their struggles, successes, and dreams. As you listen, your brain becomes fully engaged. You're no longer thinking about your phone or tomorrow's schedule. You're completely present. That's mental exercise. Meaningful conversations also improve emotional intelligence. They help you understand not only other people, but yourself. Sometimes hearing another person's experience gives you a completely new way of looking at your own life. That's how personal growth happens. So here's a challenge. The next time you meet someone you trust, ask one thoughtful question. Instead of asking, "How's work?" try asking, "What's something you've learned recently that changed the way you think?" Or, "What's a goal you're excited about this year?" You may be surprised by where the conversation leads. Sometimes, one meaningful conversation can teach you more than an entire book, because knowledge becomes far more powerful when it's shared between people. The more meaningful conversations you have, the more active, empathetic, and adaptable your brain becomes. Habit 10. Break your daily routine. Our brains love efficiency. That's why habits are so powerful. When you repeat the same actions every day, your brain begins to perform them automatically. This saves energy. But there's a downside. If every day looks exactly the same, your brain stops paying attention. Life begins to feel repetitive. Days pass quickly. Weeks blend together. And before you know it, months have gone by without anything feeling memorable. The reason is simple. Your brain notices change, not repetition. That's why new experiences often feel longer and more exciting than ordinary days. The solution isn't to completely change your life. It's simply to introduce small moments of novelty. Take a different route to work. Cook a meal you've never tried before. Sit in a different place while reading. Listen to a podcast about a topic you know nothing about. Use your opposite hand while drinking your morning coffee. Visit a museum. Explore a new neighborhood. Meet someone from a different background. Even tiny changes encourage your brain to stay alert. Think of your brain as an explorer. Explorers don't discover anything new by walking the same path every single day. Growth begins the moment you choose a different direction. Here's a simple exercise. Tomorrow morning, change just one part of your routine. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Stretch before checking your phone. Eat breakfast outside instead of in front of the television. Read for 10 minutes before starting work. Notice how different your morning feels. These small changes may seem insignificant, but over time they train your brain to become more flexible and adaptable. People who regularly seek new experiences often develop stronger creativity and better problem-solving skills because their brains are constantly learning to adjust. Remember, comfort creates routine. Routine creates autopilot, but curiosity creates growth. So don't let every day become a copy of yesterday. Give your brain something new to discover. It will reward you with greater energy, sharper thinking, and a more exciting life. Habit 11. Teach what you learn. Have you ever watched an inspiring video, read a great book, or learned something new, only to forget most of it a few days later? It happens more often than we realize. The reason is simple. Learning isn't complete until you use what you've learned. One of the fastest ways to strengthen your memory is to teach the information to someone else. You don't need to become a teacher. You simply need to explain the idea in your own words. When you teach, your brain does something remarkable. Instead of just storing information, it begins organizing it. It searches for simple explanations. It connects ideas. It fills in gaps in your understanding. And that's exactly how knowledge becomes permanent. Imagine you've just learned 5 new English words. Instead of reviewing them silently, explain those words to a friend or family member. Use them in a conversation. Create your own examples. You'll quickly notice something interesting. The words become much easier to remember. Why? Because your brain now understands them instead of simply recognizing them. The same principle works for every subject. History, science, business, languages, even everyday life lessons. If you can explain an idea clearly, you've truly learned it. Here's a simple challenge. Every time you finish reading a chapter or watching an educational video, spend 2 or 3 minutes explaining the main ideas out loud. If no one is around, teach an imaginary student. Talk to yourself. Record a voice note, or even stand in front of a mirror. It may feel unusual at first, but it works. Some of the world's best learners use this exact strategy because it forces the brain to process information deeply. Remember this simple sentence. Learning fills the mind. Teaching strengthens it. So don't keep valuable knowledge locked inside your head. Share it, because every lesson you teach becomes a lesson you'll remember. Habit 12. Play games that make you think. When people hear the word games, they often imagine entertainment. But not all games affect your brain in the same way. Some games require almost no thinking. You simply tap the screen, collect rewards, move to the next level, repeat. These games can be fun for a few minutes, but they rarely challenge your brain. On the other hand, strategy games require planning, patience, memory, and problem solving. And that's exactly the kind of exercise your brain enjoys. Think about games like chess, Sudoku, crossword puzzles, logic puzzles, memory games, word games, or even building strategies in certain board games. These activities force your brain to slow down and think ahead. You have to analyze situations, predict outcomes, recognize patterns, and make decisions carefully. That process strengthens important cognitive skills. At first, these games may feel difficult. You might lose. You might make mistakes. That's perfectly fine. Every challenge teaches your brain something new. Imagine someone who spends 30 minutes every evening solving puzzles instead of endlessly scrolling through social media. After several months, which person is more likely to improve concentration and problem-solving skills? The answer is obvious. Mental effort creates mental growth. Here's an easy challenge. Replace just 15 minutes of mindless screen time with a strategy game. Play one game of chess, solve a Sudoku puzzle, complete a crossword, or download a brain training app that encourages logical thinking instead of quick reactions. The goal isn't to become a champion. The goal is to keep your brain active. Think of it this way. Your body becomes stronger through physical exercise. Your brain becomes stronger through mental exercise. Both require consistency. Both require patience, and both reward you over time. So the next time you're looking for entertainment, choose something that entertains your mind, not just your eyes. Because every thoughtful decision you make today helps protect your brain for tomorrow. Habit 13. Give your brain time to reset. Have you ever noticed that some of your best ideas come when you're not eating, not scrolling, and not rushing? Maybe while taking a walk, maybe early in the morning, or during a quiet moment before breakfast. There's a reason for that. Your brain doesn't need constant stimulation every minute of the day. It also needs time to rest, recover, and reset. One simple way to support this natural process is by avoiding constant snacking and allowing your body enough time between meals. Many people eat from the moment they wake up until just before they go to bed. As a result, the body is almost always focused on digestion. Giving your body a reasonable break between dinner and breakfast can help you feel lighter and more mentally refreshed the next day. For many healthy adults, finishing dinner a little earlier and waiting until breakfast can create a natural overnight fasting period. However, this isn't suitable for everyone. If you have diabetes, are pregnant, have a medical condition, or take medications that affect your eating schedule, always follow your healthcare professionals' advice before making changes to your diet. The goal isn't to skip meals or feel hungry all day. The goal is to develop mindful eating habits instead of eating simply because food is available while waiting for breakfast. Drink water, stretch, read a few pages of a book, write in a journal, spend a few quiet moments planning your day. You'll often notice that your mind feels calmer and more focused. Many people also discover that they appreciate their meals more when they eat intentionally rather than automatically. Healthy eating habits don't just support your body, they also support your ability to think clearly throughout the day. Remember, sometimes your brain doesn't need more food. Sometimes it simply needs more balance. Habit 14. Right before you speak. Have you ever been asked an important question and suddenly your mind went completely blank? A few hours later, the perfect answer appeared. Why does that happen? Because deep thinking often requires silence. Most people try to solve problems by talking immediately. They discuss ideas before they fully develop them. As a result, their first thoughts are usually the easiest ones, not the best ones. Instead, try something different. Before discussing an important decision, take a notebook and write. Write every idea that comes into your mind. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about making it perfect. Simply keep writing. At first, your ideas may seem ordinary. That's normal. Your brain is warming up. But after a few minutes, something interesting begins to happen. Your thoughts become clearer. New connections appear. Creative solutions begin to emerge. Writing slows your thinking just enough to allow deeper ideas to surface. This technique is used by writers, entrepreneurs, scientists, and many successful leaders. They understand that writing isn't just a way to record ideas, it's a way to create them. Here's a simple exercise. The next time you're facing a problem, set a timer for 10 minutes. Write continuously without stopping. Ask yourself questions like, what's the real problem? What am I afraid of? What's the simplest solution? Don't edit, don't judge, just write. When the timer ends, read what you've written. You may discover ideas you didn't even realize were in your mind. Writing helps organize scattered thoughts into clear direction. It improves focus, strengthens creativity, and teaches your brain to think more carefully before reacting. Sometimes the best conversations you'll ever have are the ones you first have with yourself on paper. Habit 15. Build mental resilience by embracing healthy challenges. Life is unpredictable. Every day brings new situations, unexpected problems, and difficult decisions. The question isn't whether you'll face challenges. The real question is, will your mind be ready for them? One of the best ways to strengthen your brain is to regularly step outside your comfort zone, not by doing anything dangerous, but by choosing small, healthy challenges that teach your mind to stay calm under pressure. For example, take a cold shower for 30 seconds at the end of your normal shower. Wake up a little earlier than usual. Speak in front of a small group. Start a conversation with someone new. Try a difficult workout. Travel somewhere you've never been before. Each of these experiences teaches your brain an important lesson. I can handle discomfort. The more often you face manageable challenges, the more confident and adaptable you become. Think about athletes. They don't become stronger by lifting light weights every day. They improve because they gradually increase the challenge. Your brain works exactly the same way. Every time you overcome something difficult, your confidence grows. Stress becomes easier to manage. Problems become opportunities to learn instead of reasons to quit. This doesn't mean you should make life unnecessarily hard. It simply means you shouldn't avoid every uncomfortable situation. Growth lives just beyond the edge of comfort. So this week, choose one healthy challenge you've been avoiding. Take the first step. Your future self will thank you for it. Habit 16. Memorize something new every week. Let's finish with one of the most powerful habits of all, memorization. Many people believe memorizing information is old-fashioned. After all, we can search for almost anything online within seconds. But that's exactly why this habit has become so valuable. When you memorize something, you're giving your brain an incredible workout. You're training your attention, strengthening your concentration, improving your recall, and creating stronger neural connections. You don't need to memorize long speeches or entire books. Start small. Learn one meaningful quote every week. Memorize a short poem. Practice a few inspiring sentences in English. Learn new vocabulary, or even remember a phone number without looking at your contacts. The goal isn't to impress other people, but the goal is to strengthen your mind. Think about your favorite song. Even years later, you probably remember many of the lyrics. Why? Because repetition creates lasting memories. Now imagine using that same ability intentionally. One quote each week becomes 50 quotes in a year. One new word every day becomes hundreds of new words. Small efforts create extraordinary results over time. The strongest memories are built one repetition at a time. So never underestimate the power of remembering. Every sentence you memorize becomes another investment in a sharper mind. Final thoughts. We've covered 16 powerful habits that can help keep your brain active, focused, and healthy throughout your life. Let's quickly review them. Use your non-dominant hand. Challenge yourself every day. Reduce unnecessary screen time. Prioritize quality sleep. Spend time in nature. Read ideas that challenge your thinking. Practice active recall. Learn new skills. Have meaningful conversations. Break your daily routine. Teach what you learn. Play strategy. Games. Give your brain time to reset. Write before you speak. Embrace healthy challenges and memorize something new every week. None of these habits require expensive equipment. None of them require special talent. They simply require consistency. Remember, your brain is like a garden. If you care for it every day, it grows stronger, healthier, and more beautiful over time. But if you ignore it, weeds slowly take over. The choice is yours. You don't have to master all 16 habits today. Choose one. Practice it for a week, then add another. Small improvements, repeated consistently, create remarkable results. 1 year from now, your memory could be sharper, your focus could be stronger, your confidence could be higher, and your life could look completely different. It all starts with the choices you make today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who cares about personal growth. And if you're new to English Gateway, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Every week, we bring you inspiring English lessons, self-improvement content, and powerful life skills designed to help you become more confident in both your English and your everyday life. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building a stronger mind. See you in the next video.